Hello.
And happy Sunday. Does it need to come a little bit more?
Yeah, this way.
It felt like it was crooked.
Yeah, that's perfect. Good job.
Thank you.
Centered now.
It's centered now?
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I am so glad you are here today. I know it's just like the second sunny weekday we've had in a while, and people are out enjoying it. They're also off visiting their family and friends out of town. So I want to honor you for being here today. So thank you for coming out and being with us. Today's topic is release, refresh, and renew. Feels good, doesn't it? Release, refresh, and renew. When we talk about releasing the old, we're able to, when we release the old, we're able to awaken into a newness. We feel refreshed and renewed and ready to go, right? So as we shed our old skin, which has been our theme for the month, shedding our skin, right? Shedding what no longer works for us, we then are rejuvenated and revitalized with fresh perspectives and a new energy of aliveness. The other day, I thought, you know what, I really need a pedicure. I haven't had one since before my accident in November. I really need this done. So I ran over to this place nearby my brother's house, and I went in and I sat down, and you know, I have my knee brace on, and so I just said to the woman, I just need to, just let me know if you need me to move my legs, so my foot up and down out of the bend. I'll do it for you, right? Because it can be painful. And she was massaging my legs. And I thought, oh my gosh, I feel so good. I feel so good. I said, deeper, a little stronger, please. It just felt like she was moving an energy that had been stuck. Right? An energy that had been stuck in my body. She was moving it right out. Of course, then she went to my hands, and I was like, brother. You ever had that done, a manicure and a pedicure where they massage everything, or even a great massage therapist that just starts that lymphatic system moving again in your body, and you just feel like, okay, I could do anything. I could do anything. That's how I feel after meditation, after my prayer work, after visioning. I could do anything. Right? What other ways can you feel that way? Anybody? What do you do that makes you feel like, I can do anything now?
Dancing.
Dancing. Yeah, moving the body.
Walk by the
Walking.
ocean.
A walk by the ocean.
Walking.
Yeah.
Intentional breathing.
Intentional breathing. Yes.
Floating in the pool.
Floating in the pool. Yes. There's so many ways we can just like release our bodies and let our minds relax and just zone out. I don't know if anybody has been down to Rise downstairs and done the what do you call them? The saltwater tanks, the float tanks?
Flotation.
The flotation tanks. I haven't done it here, but I had a client gift me one out of town, and the first time I got in there, I was like, wait, hold on, you want me in this space where I can't control my environment? It took me a minute. But once I finally relaxed into it, I was gone. I was completely there, but my mind had completely relaxed. There's something about being in that dark space with music going, floating on top of this water, so I didn't have to, think about my own buoyancy. And just letting go. That was so good. It allowed me to just relax my mind, which is so important in what we do today. Our lives are running. The news comes at us 24/7, 365. And is it giving us good news? No. Unless you watch CBS Sunday Morning. Miss the beginning and miss the end. Watch the articles in between. That's always good news. Ernest Holmes, our founder, said, mental healing is subject to the exact laws of mind and spirit and is accomplished by correct knowing. This knowing is a mental attitude towards the truth, capital T truth. It is the truth which makes free, and it is the mind which knows the truth, the mind that knows the truth. So Ernest Holmes uses a lot of words to describe all that there is: God, Spirit, divine presence. And he puts a capital letter on that. So when he's writing and you see the word truth in a sentence that's capitalized, he's speaking of that thing that is greater than we are. Call it whatever you want. It could be the doorknob. It could be nature, the ocean, the water that you're floating in, the ground that you walk upon. And it's all of that and more. See, he says in the Science of Mind textbook that today we know what the quote in Romans that says, "Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." We know what that means. He says renewing of the mind is a scientific act. As the conscious thought pours truth into the subjective channels of creative energy, the body is automatically renewed. This is a mental healing. He goes on to say that mental healing is a conscious act, as well as an established fact in the experience of many people. Instead of the old concepts of dis-ease and failure, we are to inject those of liberty, freedom, health, harmony, and success. So what's he saying here? What Ernest Holmes is saying that we teach like in the teaching symbol over here, right? That we come into a physical being. We are spiritual beings having a human experience, right? We come into, from a thought, come into the spiritual experience that we have, and then when we're done at this physical experience that we have, when we're done with this physical experience, then we transform onto the next existence, whatever that might be. Ernest never actually tells us what that is, because he hadn't transcended out of the physical yet. And as far as I know, he hasn't come back to tell us. But what he's saying is that the consciousness, all that there is, it comes into, it pours truth into our subjective channels. That's our mind. It pours the truth into us. All we have to do is listen. Listen. I have a friend of mine that would say, let go of your stinking thinking and let God talk. I love that. Let go of your stinking thinking. So surrender and release are key principles of science of mind. They're important. But first we have to become aware of what the old is. What is it that you've been holding on to? And we have to be really honest. I'm going to tell you, I've been in this movement for over 40 years, and there are still things that I am admitting to myself that I've been hanging on to. And you know what? Those things hold me back. Those things hold me back. What we do is we find what it is, the old stinking thinking, and we find the tools and the courage to release the ties and let it go. I have a friend of mine, excuse me, this is my getting rid of the Bay Area. Blech. I went to the Bay Area for Christmas. I'm back on the coast and suddenly this happened, and I'm like, I think I'm releasing the toxins of being in the Bay Area. I have a friend of mine who did hypnosis work. And I said to her, Kathleen, I really need to figure out how to release these ties that I have to things. One of them was smoking cigarettes. Another one was absolute hatred of somebody. There was hatred. Another one was old tapes that had been playing in my head. And she sat with me and she did a visualization. She said, I want you to imagine all of those things, and I want you to imagine them all in your chest coming out like a big, thick, like layers of rubber bands. You know, lots of rubber bands all tied together, and let it just pull out of your system. She said, I want you to anchor it to something out on the other side of the room. She said, now I want you to, at the end of the anchor, I want you to see what all of those are. I start to, pull at one of those, ting, and see what it's connected to. And visualize all of that at the end of the rubber band. It was hard. I'm going to tell you, it was hard. And I talked about it, and we kept visualizing, and she said, now I want you to go get the scissors that you have in your mental toolbox. You know, the really big ones that they use at ribbon cuttings. She said, and I want you to cut every one of those cords. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. Because they were my identity. I was righteous in that hatred. I really was. I was righteous in it. And yeah, I wanted to quit smoking, but, it was a comfort. It was my friend. And she said, do you trust me? I said, yeah. She said, just do it. I'm going to tell you, it wasn't easy. I did it one little piece at a time. There was some I skipped. I didn't tell her that. And what happened to me over the next few days was a freedom I had never experienced before. I was describing it to a mentor of mine. I had walked around angry at somebody. And every time that person's name came up or I saw a picture of them, I was like, Suddenly, it was like I had been carrying a bunch of helium balloons and they had all been popped. Suddenly, I saw that person, heard their name, whatever, and there was no energy there. Wow. It was the most miraculous feeling. I thought I was still carrying all of this, but no, that was gone. I did eventually go back to those heart pulls that were upsetting me and eventually started cutting them one by one. It's a really good way to close out your year as well. You can do this on your own with a friend. Call me, I'll do it with you over the phone. You don't have to tell me what those strings are. That's your business. But you can release them. See, when you hold on to those, you're unknowingly sabotaging your future based on those hidden beliefs. And by using our spiritual practices, we get to continue to reveal those hidden beliefs, those stinking thinking, that righteousness, right? We get to let it go. Jack Addington said in his book, Your Needs Met, he said, old habits have no power over me. Conditions have no power over me. Personalities have no power over me. I take dominion. I am whole. I am free. I am complete now and forevermore. This morning, we were playing out here during the meditation this song by Ricky Byers. Does anybody know who she is? She's a musician. She's got this great song called I Release. And this song is sung far and wide. And And it's meant to open our hearts to release what's going on and to be in the moment. And I want to read you these lyrics. She says, I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. This is one of the chants that I sing regularly in my head when I'm struggling. Oh, and I'm on the massage table. And they're working on a really tight muscle. I sing over and over. I release and I let go. I release and I let go. I've had more massage therapists say, what is that song? Like something I know from church, right? But I'm telling my body through the vibrations of singing to let go of that isn't working. See, this song, it's a statement of willingness, of participation in a spiritual practice to release and surrender through song and devotion. When we allow ourselves to be refreshed, we are rejuvenated, replenished, and revived. Say that 3 times fast. It's like splashing cold water in our face so we can wake up. So we can rise up, so we can start again. Whatever was depleted in our lives can then be restored. And it can begin again. So the end of the year, this is a great time for renewal. It's an obvious marker to start something fresh as we close out one year and ring in the next. Now I'm going to tell you, I don't do resolutions. Resolutions are intended to be broken. Right? I don't do them. When somebody finally told me that, I went, oh, resolutions are intended to be broken. But what I do is allow myself to change my mind. What's not working for me? One of my favorite things to do around the New Year is to go through my closet. What doesn't feel good around my waist? Right? What shoes really they're cute. They're really cute, but they're uncomfortable. What is it that I have that I put it on and I don't feel amazing? And I start to let it go. Here's what I know. When I let them go, I am blessing somebody else with what's no longer serving me, including Gail's purple jacket. Just didn't fit me right. I said to her, I have this really nice purple jacket. Would you like it? Because Gail wears only purple. She said, I would love it. It was a perfect way for me to pass this jacket I had worn maybe once or twice on to somebody that could use it, that would feel good in it. Another thing I do is I look at what happened in the last year that didn't work for me. It's kind of like the Marie Kondo of my life, right? You know, anybody know about Marie Kondo? She was this organizing expert. She said it for every single thing in your house. If it doesn't bring you joy, if you don't pick it up and in 3 seconds, 5 seconds, feel absolute joy, get rid of it. Get rid of it.
Or if it's useful.
Or if it's useful, right? Not useful, possibly at a later date. Kind of like some kitchen appliances I have. But useful and brings you joy. I start to think about what in my life has been useful and has brought me joy. And what hasn't. What is it that I can let go of? Anger, frustration, a way of doing things. And when I let go of it, here's the thing that I know absolutely. Nature abhors a vacuum. Do you know what that means? It means that if you remove something in their space, it will automatically be filled with something new. It will automatically be filled with something new. And chances are, it's something that you never thought of before, and it's spectacular. I had a mentor at one point decided that he didn't like any of his living room furniture anymore. So he got rid of it. Beautiful, beautiful old house in downtown, and no living room furniture. So what are you going to sit on? He said, the floor. I said, for how long? He says, till the right thing shows up. And he and his partner sat on the floor for a while until the right thing showed up. Until they didn't know what it was going to look like, but when they saw it, they knew. That's it. It was gifted to them. The entire living room set was gifted to them, and it was perfectly in their style, almost brand new, and functioned really well. They loved it. They had to be willing to sit in the nothingness to allow the new thing to come through. How often are we willing to sit in that quiet, empty space of our lives? It's a really important practice. You know, many of us haven't had power in a while. Hi, Warren. Warren texted me this morning. He says he hasn't had power. It's supposed to come on tonight. Mine came on last night, but in the darkness, with an oil lamp glowing. My husband and I just sat there. Neither one of us felt the need to have a discussion. We just sat there. The dog was exhausted, so he was sound asleep at our feet. And we did a lot of just deep breathing and being. Kind of been out in the yard all day cleaning up the debris from fallen trees on the property, but when the power came back on, we looked at each other and went, well, at least we can eat a hot meal now. I've been warming up tea on top of the wood stove, right? But at least we can have a hot meal now. A hot shower in the morning. But it allowed us the time to just sit and be. Especially after being in the Bay Area, because let me tell you, that's chaotic in itself, right? That whole energy is just blah, 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 blah. And then on top of it, we were with extended family. I thought the Curitan family was loud. They have 9 kids, plus all of this, the sisters and the parents and the partners and the me and Mark and dogs, and it was just this constant boom, 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 boom of noise. I had gotten myself for Christmas these earplugs called Loop, that you put them in your ears and you can dial down the noise, or the ambient noise. And I put them on because everybody was talking in the dining room, and the sound was echoing off the walls so much that I couldn't focus. And I was trying to talk to our hostess, and I couldn't focus. So I went and got my earbuds and put them in and dialed everything down, and then suddenly I can hear her perfectly. I can hear Noah across the table me perfectly. I can hear my husband on the other side of me perfectly, because I didn't have that ambient noise. So I refocused myself, just like we do with our spiritual practices. That's why we come to centers like this, to build community, and to be reminded of our spiritual practices that are sitting in our toolbox, probably under a couple of other things that we use on a regular basis, right? And learn new ones that we can add to our toolbox. So as we continue to look forward into our new year, we can set intentions. I don't even set goals. Well, no, I do set goals, but I really focus on intentions. we can start visioning, and we can open our imagination to greater possibilities in our lives. When that happens, somehow we become more willing and receptive to try something new. Right? Or trying the same thing again, but with hope that this time we might be more successful than we were in the last. You ever tried something and it didn't work and you thought, oh, I'll never try that again? But then you try again and you go, oh, that wasn't so bad. That wasn't so bad. This is a time that we can bid farewell. Say some good riddance to things and wave hello to the new. And when we can combine the release of the old, the refresh and restore factor, and ring in renewal with the newness, we have a great recipe for starting over, for starting again, or just simply starting. There's a story I often use at memorial services. And I'm going to share it here because it's about letting go. And it's about a ship at the shore. And people are saying goodbye to the ship as it's carrying its goods off to another land. And so people are waving and saying goodbye. And that ship goes over the horizon and, oh, it's gone. It's gone. I imagine that ship carrying things that are no longer serving me. But it's not really gone. It's being recycled into something new. It's going somewhere else. To me, I imagine the divine going, all right, come on, let me take it and recycle it into something better. For the planet, for the country, for your county, your state, your town, your household. I imagine all of that leaving and being recycled back in, letting the earth renew. So, now that we know about this new opportunity that awaits us to release, refresh, and renew, what are we going to do with it? Will we treat it as we have in the past, or will we somehow make this truly a new and unique moment to springboard into something different and manifest our heart's desires? See, since we have a choice in how we utilize this opportunity, will we really seize the moment? Or will we choke and squander it to fear or to some other hindrance? It's up to us. It's up to us. So, how shall we mix up this batch of life differently than we have before? What is God's highest vision for our lives, and what do we need to do to manifest that? Now is the time to release the old and be free and clear. Create a ritual to really let it go. Use the chords if that works for you. Write things down on a piece of paper and throw it in your burn pile. Right? Tear it up and put it in the trash. What no longer serves you. If you need to get rid of it, put it in a sealed envelope and bring it to me, and I will make sure it gets destroyed. So that I will make sure it turns to ash. Okay? Allow yourself to be revitalized and refreshed during the process. What is your body, mind, spirit calling for that will cause you to feel refreshed? Let us allow that to happen so that we can be renewed in 2026. Let's pray, shall we? So knowing that there is one life, one power, one presence, it is that sense of renewal, it is that sense of refresh, and it is all of those things that we are willing to release out of our lives. That thing, that power, that energy, whatever it is you want to call it, God, divine presence, spirit, the doorknob, the ocean, Earth, Mother Earth, Father Sky, that still small voice within, whatever it is you choose to call it or identify it, it is in, through, and around everything, and that means it is in, through, and around each and every one of us. See, there's no place where it stops and we start. And as we realize that, as we recognize that, we can breathe into that space where only we can hear the message that is for us. And so I'm knowing for each one of us here, for each person that is watching online, for each person that will watch or listen to this talk later, I know that there is something magnificent that is waiting for you on the other side. I'm knowing that as we release any fear, any doubt, any anger, that it creates a space for love to show up. As we release anything that is no longer working for us and be willing to sit in the nothingness, love will fill that space. I know that any dis-ease, any feeling of lack, any feeling of anger or fear or frustration, as we let that go, love fills that space. Love is the only thing that we ever need to focus on. As we stand in principle, we stand in integrity and balance and peace. We stand with the knowing that there is something greater than we are, that we are tapped into all the time. That all we need to do is listen. We are tapped into peace. Peace in ourselves, peace in our communities, peace in our country, peace on our planet and in the galaxies. That peace is there. Peace is already there. As we release that anger and hatred, peace shows up. As we release dis-ease, illness, brokenness, anything that is not working for us, we allow that wholeness to show up and fill that space. As we release any ideas of lack, of not enough, whether it's ourselves, our community, our pocketbook, our country, our planet, if we release that feeling of lack, of not enough of, abundance fills that space. As we release anything that doesn't work for us, the trueness, the truth of the divine will fill it for us. I know that's true for me, just as I know it is true for everyone here, for everyone listening to my voice. I know that's true for everyone who isn't listening to my voice. I know it's true for other people in the building, other people out on the street, other people in town, in our state, in our country. I'm going to affirm for each one of them this same truth. That each person on this planet feel that shift into something more beautiful, more powerful, and more fulfilling. And I sit in gratitude for this. I sit in gratitude for the knowingness that this is already done, that the divine mind is already saying yes, yes, yes. It only answers yes to what we put out to it. And so as we sit in gratitude for all of that coming into our lives, I just simply release this into the law, knowing that it's already done. And I ask you to anchor this prayer together with me by simply saying, and so it is. Blessed be. Thank you for being here today.